start on this side. I think I saw Mr. Freeman's hand first, Sister Loretta second. I see this side, right? Sister Rose third. This is Sister Rose. And then I'll go to that Sister Rose on that side. All right, Mr. Freeman, go ahead.
Troubles.
Troubles?
Yes. I just gave you one to others.
Huh?
I just gave you one to other people.
Okay. You said troubles, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, troubles. Sister Loretta, what you got?
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Now notice something before I go further. You got trouble, you got dangerous. What you got?
Evil, treacherous.
Look at this. Evil, treacherous. Help me, Lord, to deal with all of them. Sister Rose?
Hazardous, risky, unsafe.
No. Look at all this. Who else on this side got it? Yes, ma'am.
Jeopardizing.
Jeopardizing. What you got?
Touch and go.
Touch and go.
In Hindu, touch and go.
Yeah. Wait. Now notice what she said. In what? In Hindu.
Okay, Bishop. We'll toss the man now. Let's toss the man now.
Yeah, we'll toss that because it's Hindu.
Yeah. Toss it there.
Who else? Yes, ma'am.
Full of danger or risk, exposed to imminent risk of disaster or ruin.
Okay. So who else?
I'll give you a how about froggy? Froggy, F-R-A.
Okay. All right.
Why?
I'll take that one. Yes,
So
ma'am.
wouldn't touch and go be okay because that's with uncertainty? If you're not stable and you're moving about,
I like that. I'll take that. Yes. Who else?
That's all of this.
Oh, this here. You got something deeper?
I had, and I didn't say deeper, but I also had stressful situations, difficulties.
Okay.
Now this one I didn't really understand, but it does have discernment matters.
Discernment matters?
Yes. It just said that, so that's why they say that.
Because when you discern what is right and what's wrong. Interesting. There's a man on TV used to go say things make you go, That does. Notice all these definitions for one little word. One little word. All these. I got something that y'all didn't say. Huh? What you got? Now hold on for a minute. Because you're going to read it. New American Standard? Yeah, hold on. Not yet. Not yet. Did somebody say terrible? Okay. Did anybody say, no, I knew you didn't say this. I knew y'all say this. Did somebody say grievous? Yeah, anybody say grievous? Grievous? Didn't say they did. Did anybody? I know y'all say this. Hard to get along with? Notice verse number 1 in this 3rd chapter of 2 Timothy. He says, this but know this, and the last days, perilous times shall come. Every one of the words that you all gave me just about are what we have right now. In the last days. We're going to go to verse 2, it's going to even describe in more detail of where we at today. Because what we just read with that word peerless, that's where we at right now. Grievance, all to get along with, dangerous, trouble, all those elements go along with the one little word, perilous. I want to use the word, he uses the word, this know also, in the King James. This know also. The word know in the text means this recognize. In the last days, this is what's going to happen. We right there. But what's so scary about what we just gave as definitions for perilous, people are not taking the perilous times or the last days in perilous times serious. Because if we took verse number 1 serious, we would see people do a lot better than they're doing. It's not, when we see stuff going on, people acting the way they act, and we see the Bible, watch this, the Bible fulfilling itself, and it does not motivate people to do better. And the Bible is our instruction book. Okay, let's do it this way. If you who drive, you had to get a driving manual. Is that correct? And the manual will tell you how you're supposed to drive, what signals to look for, and all those things to instruct you how to drive, and how to drive carefully or safely. Instruction manual on driving. Well, the Bible is an instruction manual on how to live Christian lifestyle or Christian living. It's not just a casual book that we read. The book is to make us better. The book is to make us grow up. The book is to make us mature and be who God has called us to be as believers. As believers. And all this stuff is going on right now. This is what happened today. The school in Parkland, Florida. He was a former student. My question is, how did he get him back into school? Well, I know I got back to school because some of the schools have taken the metal detectors or don't have metal detectors, say like this. And so when you don't have metal detectors, you get into school. I remember when my wife used to work at a school used to be called Johnson Elementary. Young man. I mean, you suspend those. And when I had to go in there to see her, I could not get in the building. I had to ring a bell to get in the building. And then they asked me a question, who are you? And then the second question was, who are you to see? And they could see who I was. And I'm with another, so they said, and I just say, Mr. Ross, they said, all right, come on in. And there's no more questions. But what has happened is, we're in the end time, and all this stuff is going on. We just had it happen in Benton, Kentucky, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now it's in Florida. We're in the last day, and I don't think we're waking up and seeing this. I would go to, and I'm going to say that, I might go to another scripture to tell you and show you what's going on in the last days. And it's happening right as we said, right now. This is going on, and we got to really take the Bible seriously. We got to really gravitate to what the Bible is saying to make us better, to make us stronger, to make us the people of God that He has called us to be. It's not like you're reading a comic book. When I say that, I'm saying like this, in the fashion of reading it as casual reading. I think that's what's wrong with a lot of folk. They look at the Bible and read the Bible without reading the Bible today. But here's the question we have to ask the Bible. What I'm reading, how can I apply it to my life? To make me be better than who I am now. Does it make sense? And that's what we got to get to. That's what we got to be. Because he is on his way back. And I know they said when I was on the board, Lee High to a cricket, the old folks said, they said years ago, but he is really coming back. And we see the signs of his return. But you know what's so sad? The church is not really recognizing and really taking seriously that his return is soon. Or old folks said not. We got to take it serious. Our walk has got to be serious. We can't be playing this thing. It's either all or nothing. All or nothing. Anybody on the first one before I go to 2? I'm going to dig with some more little words here. Nobody? All right, let's go to 2. Before I go to 2, Deacon Jada, listen to what the New American Standard says on verse number 1. Then I'm going to get you reading the New Living Translation, please.
It says, but realize this, that in the last days, difficult times will come.
Realize this. I want you to know the word. Wake up! Wake up! We used to sing a song, "Oh Zion, what's about it now?" Wake up! Wake up! Listen to what the New Living Translation says.
It says, you should also know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times.
Now watch this. The New Living Translation calls out Timothy's name. I want to replace Timothy's name with us. Realizing, recognizing us, or you, the church, that perilous time, when the last days, perilous times shall come. Now watch this. Whatever word you see, is either going to say will or shall. The word will or shall in either one of the translations means it's definite. It's a surety. It's going to happen. Ain't no maybe so. Ain't no probably. It's going to happen. Will come or shall come. It's going to happen. Either version or translation. Let me read it. No, I'm not going to read that one. I'm using it for the second verse. Anybody else on verse number 1? Okay. Watch verse number 2. He goes in describing these things that's going to happen in the last days. Watch what he says. For men shall, that means it's a definite, shall be lovers of, watch this, of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. We got all these words in verse number 2, not 1, 2. Let's look at this. He says, lovers of themselves. What is he saying? When he says lovers of themselves, that's real easy. That's a real easy definition. Huh?
They're egotistic, it's just about them.
All about them. Ain't about nobody else, background, but it's not about anyone else. It's about them. Lovers of themselves. You see that right now prevalent in the world, in society now. People are lovers of themselves. They're not lovers of God. Yes, ma'am.
Our president is one of the.
I thought that. I'm gonna keep it in a minute on something else. And he is. It ain't all about him. It's not about him. Lovers of themselves. Now the second one is, the King James says covetous. What is covetous?
Greedy, envious.
Greedy, envious, money back there said. What else? Mr. Freeman, I want to ask you a question. And I'll put you on the spot. Why did you say money?
Because actually I had to use this not too long ago. With my boss, actually, I didn't say his wife was turned around. I said, no, you're just a lover of money. It's, the best way I can explain it is someone who actually has money, really need no more money. I mean, don't you sit no money, basically. But you still complaining about you don't have enough money.
That's President. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Greed also covers means when somebody else has something, you want what they got. Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I learned something from, even though they are different cultures, they're Indians.
Mm-hmm.
His wife explained something to me. She said, he'll die like that. I said, what you mean? She said, it is their custom as a man Indian to outdo the other Indian.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you see another Indian man have. When you're a man, you're supposed to go after that. And if you don't, you're not a man.
Yes. In India, it is what is called competition. It is competitiveness. I work with a person from India, and that is exactly right. And what's it's really strange because you got two brothers, they try to outdo each other. They literally try to outdo each other. And they are, number one, they are lovers of themselves. Man, I'm trying to keep it going there because the people from India, some of these others on here too. But that's what it is. They want what somebody else got and to do better than what somebody else is doing. But when you read, and the reason why I ask you that, is when you read another translation, it doesn't say covetous. It says lovers of money. Lovers of money. Jalen, Brother Jalen, what does the New American Standard say?
Lovers of money.
What does the New Living Translation say?
Yeah, will love only themselves and their money.
And them love themselves and their money. Hold on just a second. And what the other one I got says the same thing. I got another translation besides New King James. Now, what's the third? Third one says boasters in the King James. Boasters. What is that? To brag. To brag. They use another word, braggadocious. Full of great swelling words. Huh?
Step, swell-headed, a conceited and self-centered person.
I'm going to use another term, Sister Miss Brenda. Big-headed. Who else? Everybody got something else? Yes, ma'am.
I had this here. It said each of them, all the ones you just named, said each of them says you don't matter, and God does not matter. All that matters is me.
Watch this. Oh, I like that. He said, literally what she just read is saying that no one else matters, and not even God matters. Only thing that matters or person that matters is me, myself, and I. Oh man, that's the next word I'll use that. Boasters. And we see people doing that right now. Watch this. Not only that, but we see people boasting in the church. It's all about him. It's not about any of us. It's about him. If we're going to make, the Bible says, if we're going to boast it out, make our boast in the Lord. It's in him we live, move, and have our what?
Being.
If it wasn't for him, I can't move. So it's all about him, not about us. And so Paul is instructing Timothy in verses 1, 2, and 3. This is what's going to happen, and this is the mindset of people who live on in these modern day shores. Words of late Bishop Ross. He uses the word modern day shores. All right. Anybody else on the third one? The next one says pride. Pride. Huh? Okay. What'd you say, Sister Loretta?
I think it could mean someone who's pumped up. Pumped up.
Yes. Someone who's pumped up. Absolutely. Who else? Proud. Haughty. Arrogant. An arrogant individual. He gives all these words to Timothy in his teaching or his instructions to Timothy what's going to happen. Anybody got anything other than those two words? I am arrogant and haughty. Okay. Watch this. And notice this next one. It says, unthankful. I like it. Sister Brenda Rose says, have no gratitude. Not thankful at all. Not thankful at all. And then, before I go there, anybody else got something else different? Nobody? All right. We're in this time right now where people don't say thank you anymore. It's almost like they got a mindset, you're supposed to give me that.
Yes.
No one has to do anything. But because of the kindness of individuals, you ought to say thank you. Because they didn't have to do it. But because of arrogance, boasters, proud, you owe me this. No, no one owes you. No. You got that twisted. It's all twisted. Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I heard the Bible said in all things, give thanks. I mean, it's everything. I mean, whether it be small, minute, large, or whatever, huge, or whatever, it says in all things give thanks. Watch it. For this is the will of God concerning you. Yes, has your hand up?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me.
What you got done. That's, the scripture actually is interesting. We're doing this, that we're in this part of the scripture right now because on my job, we had a meeting, and the meeting was basically around our manager not thanking people when they do things. And what he said kind of just blew me away. He said, you don't see me being thankful? They said, no, we never heard you say thank you. He said, when I give you a check, that's my thank you. Those are the exact words. And I looked and I said, oh, so basically you said we owe you this. He said, yeah. He said, you want money, don't you? I mean, that was his attitude. He was honest. He was just honest as he could be, you know. And I talked to him after it was over, whatever. And he was like, I just wasn't raised that way. We don't do that in our culture. The man don't. The woman, she's always supposed to be thankful. She's supposed to say thank you to her husband. Even when she feeds him, bring food to the table, she's supposed to tell him thank you. He doesn't tell her thank you.
Yeah, because like I said, I got a coworker, it just blew me away. Coworkers talked about the dad with that same mindset. I probably shouldn't say this, but if I was that person's wife, there's no way in the world I'd be staying that deep. Because when you actually hear their culture, they treat women like dogs.
Yes, they do.
Like dogs. It is, as a matter of fact, I actually met the person's dad. Actually, he wanted to meet me. And the reason why he wanted to meet me, because the co-worker considers me as the father. And here's what the person said, because you are much nicer than my biological father. And when the person has to make decisions, they don't call their dad. They call me. And I said, I'm not your father. I got two sons. That's all the kids I got. I'm not your father. But you, how the person said, you treat me better than my father. You give me better advice than my father. So she actually literally told her father those exact words. That's why he wanted to meet me. He literally wanted to meet me. So we sat down and dialogue. Oh, you Raymond. That's what he told. That's what he told. And I met the mother too. They had me meet both of them. I met the other members of the family. Oh, I said, yes, sir. I just told him, I said, I am who I am. Okay, good. Okay, you could. At the end of the conversation, at the end of all the doubt, we sat there for always over an hour. You want to know who I am? And I said, I already knew who he was. But he wanted to ask me all questions and all that and all, and actually, and then I also asked you who you believe and what you believe. And I wasn't about to change nothing. Oh, okay. And at the end of the conversation, he said, oh, you seem to be a good man. But their culture is terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. And they're so arrogant. So arrogant. And this is the way the world is right now. It is a society of arrogance. I'm going to go further in the church world. We got preachers who are so arrogant. If you do not, listen, and then go to the next one. It's unholy. The next one. If you don't watch this is what bothers me to no end. I get nervous with this. Is we have become, you heard me say before, we have become title happy. And if we don't call persons by their title, they will either chew us out or won't respond. When the last time I read the Bible, Jesus was Jesus. They called him Messiah, but he was just Jesus. That's what they called him. He was not in, watch this, he was not in this title happy situation. But then, especially in the 21st century church, it's ridiculous. You got to call him, I'm apostle, prophet, so-and-so. You got to recognize me by my name. Who were you before you were that? And I made one person mad. My father came out of me. And I actually told the person, I said, who were you before you were that? Well, brother. No, who were you before that? Well, why? And then I didn't keep reading the answer. I said, well, why you want to be arrogant? Jesus wasn't arrogant. Well, brother, I want people to recognize my title. I walked off because when you are arrogant like that, can't nobody tell you nothing. And watch what I'm going to tell you. Even God can't talk to you. And when God can't talk to you on dangerous ground. You tread on dangerous waters when God can't instruct you and tell you what to do. And that's where we are, even in the church world. It's ridiculous. And that's why I heard they say, one of my mentors told me, he said, son, the church world is in trouble. And the church world is in trouble. We're in trouble. Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and she was telling me, she don't go to church because she believes the place where she was going to is them at none of my business, okay? She said she felt that they were all about telling you what you want to hear and numbers. I said, well, I told her where my church was. I said, we preach the truth, and if it's